The last few days have been very turbulent in the Zwift community, and one thing is clear: the newest patch didn't leave a single stone unturned. But there has been one thing I've seen over and over again: that the famous Tron bike is dead. And it is the recent update and associated bike rebalancing that's supposed to be the culprit. Up until this point, the Tron bike was an all-arounder, and actually one of the best ones at that. But that is now completely different, because this bike has been nerfed, or to be more precise, it has been completely redesigned. From what I read, it is now the top performing aero bike, TT bikes excluded, but the cost for that is pretty severe, a complete misery when it comes to climbing performance. And the question is, how bad it really is? And do we actually want this as racers? I wanted to see that for myself, so I performed a series of tests to verify those claims myself. I rode the Tron bike on 4 segments: a flat one, a rolling one, a hilly one, and one that is straight up climbing. And then I did the same with the best all-around setup currently available, the S-Works SL8 with a set of ZIP 454 wheels. I'm then going to compare the times, calculate the time differences, and extrapolate those differences to 1 hour of riding. All of the rides were done in ERC mode at a steady power of 180 watts, rider height set at 170 centimeters, and a rider weight of 75 kilos. Also, since we are now living in the era of bike upgrades, I should clarify that all the rides were performed with level 0 bikes. I also didn't use steering during this test. The first test is a flat one, and I used Volcano Flat counterclockwise as the testing ground. You might be wondering why not Tempus Fugit, and the reason for that is simple. The only route that is as flat as Tempus Fugit is, well, Tempus Fugit. I feel that the Volcano Flat is more representative of the true flat course, as this is about as flat as it gets in standard Zwift race. The second test was supposed to test the bike's performances on a rolling course with frequent gradient changes, and for this, I chose the Glasgow Crit circuit. The elevation is still not anything crazy, but it's about twice as hilly as the Volcano Flat. It is also probably the most common ratio of elevation to distance in a usual Zwift race. The third test was on a hilly course called C23. This one is about 3 times as hilly as the Glasgow Crit and about 6 times as hilly as the Volcano Flat. It is almost pure climbing, but not the most difficult one in the game by any means. In terms of Zwift racing, you can imagine this as a really difficult, really hilly race. And the last test was a real mountainous segment which I performed on the first 4 sections of the grade. Almost 3 times as hilly as C23, about 8 times as hilly as Glasgow Crit, and about 16 times as hilly as the Volcano Flat. This is proper hard Tour de France level of climbing, like Alpe de Zwift, Van Top, you get the point. Before we get to the results, I have to say that this is by no means a scientific test, and the results might be actually somewhat skewed by drafting. Then again, I performed all the rides basically right next to each other, so the drafting effect should be pretty similar during all of those rides. The flat test is where the Tron bike should decimate the all-arounder, and from the results we can see that exactly that happened. There has been a difference of 19 seconds between those 2 rides, which equals to 90 seconds of difference over 1 hour of riding. Then in itself suggests that the Tron bike is far from that, right? Well, hold that thought. Because when we go right to test number 2, which was the slightly rolling one in Glasgow, the SL8 is already a winner. Yes, a tiny amount of rolling terrain basically evaporated all that Tron bike's advantage, and let's be clear, that was a huge advantage. On this course, the S-Works was about 2 seconds faster, which means a difference of 21 seconds over an hour. Now, I suspect the actual difference should be somewhat smaller, and it's caused by rounding to full seconds, because if it's not, the Tron bike is in serious trouble. The third test brought us to somewhat easier climbing segment, and the result kind of confirmed my suspicion from the second test. The SL8 was 3 seconds faster here, which equals to 15 seconds of difference over the course on 1 hour. Since this was a hillier course, I suspect the actual 1 hour difference on the rolling course is somewhere about 10 seconds. But the all-arounder still won. And the fourth test is proper climbing, and it is no surprise the SL8 wins here, because not only it is the best all-arounder in the game, It is currently also the best climber in the game. 5 seconds faster on the testing segments, equaling a 32-second difference over the course on 1 hour. For all those results, it is also important to say that they are applicable for level 0 tuning of the bikes, but the upgrades might actually change it. We'll have to wait and see. So is the Tron Bike dead? No. But at the same time, is it the optimal choice for racing? For the most part and for the foreseeable future, not really. Not only because of the performance, but it will also be immensely easier, quicker and cheaper to fully upgrade a bike like SL8 rather than the Tron bike, for which to even be eligible for the upgrades, you first need to fully upgrade 3 different Zwift bikes. And when you finally do, you will still need to ride 8,000 kilometers and spend 10 million drops to fully upgrade the Tron bike. Compare that to 1600 kilometers and 1.9 million drops necessary to fully upgrade bike like SL8. Let me know in the comments, will you still use your Tron bike despite all of this? If you like this video, give me a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.